Again, family therapist Jane Marks. Good morning to you, Jane.
Good morning, Kelly.
So
how are you?
Pretty good. We're talking about back to school. Most schools back in session for a couple of weeks now. And you got a question in about a mother saying she overheard her daughter and some of her other 16-year-old friends talking about another girl in their grade with such cattiness. And parents might be thinking, what do I do? Do I step in? Do I say something? Do I talk to her away from her friends? How can you combat this problem of cattiness? And I have to imagine this time back to school is it's a tough time when it comes to maybe some gossiping.
But it's also very normal. You know, for teenagers, you have to remember that they always want to experience this sense of belonging. So when you talk about somebody who is less fortunate than you are, it becomes part of an everyday kind of conversation. It must have been pretty mean, though, for this woman to actually ask the conversation. And we always start with trying to tell parents, first thing you want to do is step back and figure out if this is a routine event or is it a one-time thing. If it is, you might let it go. The important thing is that have you taught really sound core values? Now, have you taught social skills that address mastering social situations? When girls have strong feelings about themselves and good self-esteem, they have the ability to navigate these situations, and this kind of discourages catty behavior. Now, parents, create a sense of accountability. If you see your daughter or her friends being cruel, get them to talk about it. How do they feel about it? What would they do in a situation? Are they accountable for someone else's stress? And what do they believe the consequences are? So all of this creates a sense of accountability. It is important when you see the incidents of cruelty, sometimes if it's a repeated thing, to document it. So when you go back and have the conversation, you can say, you know what, this is an ongoing pattern. Now, it's critical when you see these things emerge over and over to have a good relationship, if you can, of the parents of your kids. If you know the families of your teens' friends, then you all can address it as a group if it needs to be addressed as a group. And I think it's important to remember that you must pay attention to your behavior as a parent. Some parents are very hands-on parents. They want to know every single detail, what's been going on all day, so they don't even realize that they're part of the problem as opposed to part of the solution. And I think, for parents to teach teens, you know what? We can't always control what happens in the environment, but we can certainly look at our part in it. Teenagers, by and large, are in the, again, we've always talked about this changing brain, and that they need to have these teachable moments. And while this may not seem like a big issue, this can also turn into the mean girl syndrome. And that is a problem that we know as therapists that we are seeing on a regular basis. Kids who have been victims of mean girl syndrome. And what it can often create, the unfortunate thing about it is that we sometimes see it create significant depression. And so parents need to be alert. They of course, of all the people in their teens' lives, are certainly guides. They are the stewards of what happens in the future. So to teach management of this issue and at least alert them to that is part of this process that we continue to talk about.
And so many times actions speak louder than words.
Absolutely.
Great advice here. And of course, we have more tips from family therapist Jane Marks. They're going to be posted online for you at WTXL.tv. Jane, thank you so much for being here. We always appreciate it. Stay with us. We're back in just 2 minutes.